Hey guys, it's Andre again. Wanted to take a quick minute here to make a video about something a little bit different than what I usually do for automotive related topics. So I was playing on my Nintendo Switch earlier today, and my kids and I play a ton of Minecraft. My wife joins in as well, and so we've got 4 pairs of these controllers, and for a while I've been dealing with this issue where the controller starts sticking when you move forward. So if you're trying to control a character and you press up to move the character forward, when you let the controller go, basically what it'll do is the character will continue to move forward for a little bit of time. And there's been a few fixes that people have thrown around. Basically they replace the joysticks and they fail again after a few months, and you keep having to replace these joysticks for about 10 bucks a pop until you get tired of it and just, I don't know. And some people blow it out with air, and some people clean it out with the electronic parts cleaner, thinking there's a bunch of dust that gathers up in there underneath this little dust boot. If I bring it up a little closer here, you'll notice that there's a dust boot right there you can lift up. So they figure dust is getting in under there. That's not a bad conclusion, but I think I actually figured out what's going on thanks to a video by a guy named Spawnwave. I'll link the video in the description so you can kind of see what he does. And what he does is he takes apart one of these joysticks. So it's got the whole assembly inside. He takes it apart and shows you the circuit board and how everything works. Out of respect for him, I'm not going to use his video in my video, so you can bring it up on your own. But I'll kind of draw what he's looking at here. So you've got a square that's a circuit board. In the middle, you've got the space for the ball joint for the joystick. And you've got these contact points here. And these contact points, I think a little bit longer actually, are made of some kind of graphite material. And his theory is that there's these sliders, look like a little piece of plastic with metal tips on each end. These sliders will move past the graphite point and they'll read some kind of a resistance, and that's how the controller knows which direction you're going in. And the theory is that because of these metal points are on these graphite areas, the more they contact, the more they wear out, and eventually they wear out and start causing some issues, although he didn't go into very much technical detail as to what exactly he thinks is happening. I think that he's on the right track as far as it has to do something with these contact points and this slider here. Now there's 2 sliders, of course, one going this way and one going that way. What I think is happening is that this slider is starting to stick. And I'll explain why. So I was playing Minecraft today and I was trying to analyze this situation because I went into my garage and I tried to clean it out with an air gun. I've got a compressor, 120 psi, just blow a bunch of air through there trying to get whatever dust is out. Came back in, made no difference whatsoever. I was pissed. And so what I did was I was playing, and I noticed that when I try to sprint in Minecraft, the sprint action is 3 parts. So you'll take the controller, and you'll move forward, let it go back to rest, and move forward again and hold it forward in order to sprint. And it's more of a quick movement, kind of like that. And there's 3 parts that have to happen here. So you move forward, you have to come back to rest, and then you hold it forward again. If it does not come back to rest, or it does not register as coming back to rest, then what will happen is it'll only register as one solid movement forward. And on this controller in particular, it was really bad, or I could only 1 out of 10 times actually get it to sprint forward. Every single time it would only register as 1. And then I noticed when I'm going forward, occasionally, if I let the controller go, it will continue, my character will continue to move forward. But the character moves forward at a slower pace, then starts slowing down, and then come to a complete stop. And I realized also that these controllers have a bit of a dead zone. I'm not using much pressure here, I'm barely touching it, and this dead zone that's created here, it doesn't really stick at the center position. Now, I don't think that's the root cause of the problem, but I wanted to kind of show you. What I think is happening is because of this dead zone and the amount of tension that exists right here, right at the end, the tension is not enough in the joystick to overcome the friction of the slider over these contact points. Okay. Now, I do want to point out, just as a side note, that I don't think that there is a whole lot of wear occurring on these graphite contact points here, because there's not a lot of tension on these sliders on top of the graphite points in the first place. Because even if you're a hardcore player and you press down on this thing really hard, all the wear that's occurring is in the ball joint, not in the contact points. It's in the ball joint of the actual joystick. So what I think is happening is that when you press forward on the joystick controller and you let it go, as it comes to the rest position this slider is sticking and is holding forward just a little bit. And this kind of confirms my behavior in my game, where the character would start moving after you came back to the rest position, but at a slower rate, and then slow down gradually and then come to a complete stop. That to me means the slider is forward. It's going to come back to rest position, then slowly creep back until it's at the rest position, because there's not enough tension, you know, on the actual joystick to cause it to move all the way back. So the way that I fixed it, I've been studying for an STLE certified lubrication specialist certification for the last 5 years or so, and I'm an AMSOIL dealer as well, and I use this silicone spray here. It's a very, very good silicone spray made by AMSOIL, and this is primarily used for non-metallic surfaces. So I figured, you know, what the heck, I'll give this a try. The cool thing about silicone spray is it's not really a liquid application. I'll try to bring the bottle here. And basically it leaves a clear, odorless, non-staining film. This is more of like a solid lubricant. It's not necessarily a liquid lubricant, but unlike some products that I won't name in this video necessarily, that I've had experience with, it does not gum up. It does not attract a lot of dirt. And it says here, it does not attract dust or dirt. That's exactly what you want. You don't want to attract more dust or dirt in that slider to where it sticks even more. And here's what I did. So I grabbed this little can and I lifted up on that little dust boot over here, and I'm going to try to show it to you a little bit better. You can lift up the dust boot with a little screwdriver, and you can see the mechanism inside the joystick over there. You can see that white space. It's kind of hard to show in the video because it's so small, but basically I lifted up on this, I stuck that little red nozzle in there, and I sprayed the living heck out of it. I gave it quite a bit. I then worked all the way through. I worked in the silicone spray everywhere. Now keep in mind, this comes with a wet carrier, but the actual film is not wet. It's just a film that, you know, stays on there, does not attract dirt. What I did afterward is I grabbed my compressor and I put my compressor nozzle in there, and I just blew a bunch of air through it just to get any excess out. Worked its way in again, blew it in again just to make sure that I got all the excess out. You can use a can of compressed air as well if you wanted to. And came back inside and I played for about an hour. I played Minecraft for about an hour, and this controller was flawless. I did not have a single issue with it again. If I went forward, if I let it go, it came to a complete stop. If I double tapped, it sprinted every single time. I never had a single issue again for the last hour with this controller. Now, I know that an hour's worth of playtime is not really a good indicator of whether or not my solution is going to be permanent, so I'll make another video on this in about 2 weeks. Again, we get a lot of playtime on these controllers. I'll make another video on this in about 2 weeks just to, you know, give you a report, a little feedback on whether or not this worked, since I know some people are going to be watching this. I recommend you, you know, keep around, stick around, subscribe to this channel so you get that video as soon as I post it up. Again, what I used is AMSOIL silicone spray. This is the best silicone spray I have used to date. I'll put a link in the description if you want to pick up a can of that stuff and try it out for yourself. Again, I can't really speak for other silicone sprays or any other lubricants for that matter. I would not use WD-40 here. I've got my reasons for that. Basically, in my experience, it tends to gum up a little bit. When exposed to dirt, it attracts dirt a little more. That's just been my experience. I'm not saying that that's what the product was designed to do, but I just wouldn't personally recommend it for that application. It's really up to you what you want to use. I recommend this silicone spray here. In any case, I'll put a link to all this. I'll put a link to the spawn wave video, kind of showing you how this whole mechanism comes apart and what's it all made of. And you guys can decide on whether or not you think that my solution is going to work. Like I said, give it a try. Oh, of course, one last thing as a disclaimer. I can't be held responsible for what you do with your controller. If you don't really follow any instructions or you don't really understand what's going on, I recommend you don't touch it. But if you want to give it a shot before you spend the 10 bucks to replace each one of these little, you know, joysticks yourself, again, it's all on you. I don't take any responsibility. You know, proceed at your own risk. Anyways, thanks for watching this video, guys. Please subscribe to my channel, and have a great day.